Gameplay systems may be the single most important aspect to any video game's development, and throughout the years, Zombies has seen a lot of changes from all the way at World at War to Black Ops 6. And in today's episode, I brought a very special guest on to talk about these systems while mostly focusing on Black Ops 6 so we can really understand at a granular level what we're dealing with. Let's dive in. Why don't we just kind of get started, man, and just introduce yourself. How you doing? How you feeling? It's good to have you. What's going on in your neck of the woods? What's going on? Tell me about yourself.
Obviously I'm no name here. A channel name so original that no one has ever done it before. I kind of started blowing up around, I guess blowing up is a bit of an extreme term, but I started launching my content creator career a couple months ago when Black Ops 6 came out. And, it all started with my love of the mode, Everything I say or do, or when I talk about, I do it because I love zombies at the end of the day. And we've been, we just hit 4K and I'm super excited. I'm ready to keep going.
That's great, man. How'd you kind of like get into zombies? Like, what was your entry point?
So I've been playing zombies ever since Black Ops 1. That was my first game. So it was Kino. I was one of those kids, started playing Kino, and Kino was their favorite map. And then over time, I started playing, maps like 5 that I didn't even know existed. And then Black Ops 2 came out, and I played a lot of Transit, more Transit than I should have played.
Interesting.
Or that Transit deserved me to even play, dude. Like that map sucks.
It really does. It's kind of one of the, like, I'd like to get into that maybe a little bit, just to ask you some questions about it, because I just don't get the nostalgia for it. But so when you say like you kind of got into BO1 and you didn't really know 5 was there, did you not experience like the World at War ending credits kind of rolling and playing Knock? Did you go back to that later?
No, I didn't play. I have never played World at War until 3 years ago.
Okay.
Because it was more like I'm gonna keep playing the newest Call of Duty game, and I never really went back. The only times that I did go back was to Black Ops 2. There was a like 4 to 5 year period until Gorod Krovi came out, when I finally got an Xbox One, where all I did was just play Origins. Like I played it every day with my friends for like 3 to 4 years straight. We would just hop on and play Origins for like 10 hours, and we did it every single day. And I never got bored. It was that's another reason why that is my favorite map. I will always love that map to this day. Just speed running, high rounds. Every game felt different. It was so good. Such a good map.
So when you were like kind of growing up playing through the BO1, BO2 days, were you kind of gravitating towards more in-depth play styles, or were you more of like a casual and then kind of got into it around the BO2, BO3 era, or were you just kind of always heavily obsessed with it?
I was kind of always heavily obsessed with it. I didn't know where we were going, because like I was always one step behind the community. Like I was playing Black Ops 1 a year after BO2 came out, and then I finally got Black Ops 2, and I was playing that for like almost a year, like a couple months, until Gorod Krovi came out for BO3. It's not like I was a casual or a hardcore player. I just loved what I was playing. And so every map that I could play and I wanted to keep playing more, I just kind of loved. And that's why Origins was like a hard stuck map for me, because there's just so much to do on that map, more than any other map that I played. Because like Origin or Transit, I played a ton. Kino, I played a ton. 5, I played a ton. I went to go to like my cousin's, and he had like Moon and all the World at War maps. So I did play the World at War maps with him, but I just didn't play it on World at War. I played them on BO1.
Sure.
But like that, until Origins came out, or at least until I got my hands on Origins, I guess you could say I was a casual player. I would get to like round 30 and then die.
Yeah.
And that was my experience for like a year.
Yeah, it's funny because when I I've said this a couple times before, but like I started at World at War, missed BO1, BO2, got into BO3. I think it was I was actually kind of at launch coincidentally. I just happened to buy the game. I didn't even know like it was new. I just bought it. But I remember playing Shadows and absolutely loving it. And then I kind of put it down for a little bit and I picked it back up and there were like some DLC maps and it was Zetsubo. And that's and like just Shadows and Zetsubo and DE, all of it was just like so fucking awesome. I was just so stoked to really dive into these experiences and it really felt like a natural progression. Even though I wasn't in the know, it really felt like a natural progression for what I played when I was younger on World at War. But I wasn't clinging on to it in the sense of keeping up with the community. Like I didn't know when DLC came out. I didn't know, new maps were going to be coming. I was just kind of turning on my console, playing it for a little bit, having a really good time, absolutely loving it. But I was like, kind of like what you said a moment ago, like a few steps behind the community.
But yeah, it's more like you grew up with the mode. It wasn't necessarily just you like keeping up with the community.
Yeah.
It's like as you grew, you discovered more of zombies and you grew with the mode at your own pace, which is kind of weird. It's like an alienated experience from the rest of the community. So then when you engage with the community, you kind of come at it from a different angle than everybody else.
Yeah, but it's what's interesting though is I think that experience. Well, I shouldn't say this is common, but it almost feels like people were kind of most Zombies fans were kind of playing it at their own pace or whatever. But around BO3, a lot of us just all congregated online and kind of found each other. And I think we were all like so passionate. We loved it all. Blundell was like, teasing stuff and marketing things and interviewing players and getting involved in the community or whatever. And I just think it all kind of culminated into this natural, perfect moment or whatever you I don't know if perfect's the right word, but it was just a good time to be a Zombies fan. It was just very special and it felt very organic. I know it's kind of a cliche, lame kind of word, but it just felt like it was supposed to be there. Everybody was in the right place at the right time. And then even today, which, I'm not trying to cope or anything, I do feel like we're all kind of yearning for that moment again. But the thing is like, that special moment is not ever going to happen again because we didn't force it to happen. It just was a natural thing that everybody got to experience.
Yeah. I just like, I think one of the biggest faults of Zombies, especially when it comes to downfall and negative opinions, is just like, it's not even exactly Treyarch's fault a lot of the time, which is what I talk about in my videos a lot of the time as well. It's the community, right? And our expectations. And I think that's a lot of the time how we set ourselves up for doom or for failure is because we build these ungodly expectations for something or how will the community react. And we're going to go back to the BO3 days. And then obviously it doesn't happen. And then a lot of people just get mad and they either leave or they just go on to other Zombies, like forums like the Reddit or Twitter or our channels or our videos. And, they'll just be toxic and negative in there. And I think that's very telling. But I think we could get somewhere similar. I just think expecting it isn't what causes it. I just think it just happening is what's going to make it happen, at the end of the day. And I know that sounds like kind of like obviously no shit, but I think you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, I do. It was just it just has to naturally occur. Like we can't force or manifest these expectations out of nowhere. Like it just has to happen. The right maps, the right pieces of marketing, the right parts of the community just all have to kind of synergize at the same time. And that moment can occur. It's not going to be the moment we're thinking it is. It's going to be something different if it ever comes, Yeah,
it's just not Vanguard.
Yeah, well,
it just wasn't Vanguard.
Definitely was not Vanguard. Well, what's kind of interesting to hear you say, I want to push back a little bit because I partially agree with what you're saying about, it's Treyarch's, it's not really Treyarch's fault or whatever. And that's true. I think the community will put a lot of expectations on certain things. And another thing that really hurts it is like leaks when we feel it, when we hear a piece of news
Oh,
and we're
how
all,
I feel about that.
yeah, yeah. And you can
Yeah.
elaborate. You can elaborate on in a second. It just always seems like we get a piece of news and then the community twists it and then it doesn't come to fruition because it was never supposed to, and then we're all let down. But I will say that Treyarch, or whichever studio whatever part of Call of Duty you love, like perhaps if you're listening to this, you like multiplayer or campaign or whatever, and you hear certain things and it kind of builds up that hype and it doesn't meet your expectations, which is fair. Treyarch is doing I think the studios are doing their best, but the Treyarch has done better in the past. And what I mean by that is they have raised better is not the right word. They have set the bar extremely high. They have made some iconic, amazing, masterpiece-esque content. Like you were saying, Origins, Shadows, DE, in my opinion, like Blood of the Dead and stuff like that. And so when I see what Treyarch is fully capable of, and then they kind of miss, in my opinion, the mark, or maybe they knock it out of the park in some aspects of a map, or they hammer it home with some systems or elements of the game, but then they're like missing on others. It's like, why can they never just like knock it out of the park in all aspects of a game or a map or whatever? It seems like there's always something missing. And when we had that, in my opinion, like the golden era of zombies, and this isn't to say that modern zombies is bad. I like Black Ops 6 quite a bit, especially a Shattered Veil. But when we see this age of like BO3 up through BO4, and I'm including World War II and Infinite Warfare in that as well, that was just like a really awesome time. And we know Treyarch's capable of doing stuff like that. So when they miss the mark with like perhaps a Tomb or a Citadel or a Liberty Falls or whatever people hate about each one of those maps, it just makes me kind of scratch my head. Why can't they repeat what they did prior?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is based on like after the fact, right? Of receiving what we actually got. And I do think Treyarch can do better with communication skills, especially like Vanguard. I think yet again, it's just such an example of just doing a terrible job that it's just easier to point out. So I'm just gonna use an example.
That's okay.
Like the marketing for Vanguard was so deceptive and misleading that every ounce of hate that game got from the community, from the downfall of the expectations, absolutely deserved.
Sure.
Like 100%. And when I mention the missing expectations mark for the community, I'm more speaking about like we hear some things about what's going to happen in the future, like a new map that we could be getting or a new perk or whatever. And then we set an ungodly expectations for that because of other YouTubers or people in the community or just everybody in the community as a whole. And then we get let down. I don't think that it's fully Treyarch's fault, and I don't think it's fully the community's fault either. I just think that going forward, at least, that we could take some self-accountability and be like, okay, maybe because there's a jet gun leak, it doesn't mean that we're going to get transit in Black Ops 6. Like that doesn't mean that's not correlated, right? But yeah, like where you're coming from with the product that we get now. Absolutely, I agree. And I think, I agree more than most that Treyarch has done so much better before. And that's what causes my disappointment and frustration as well. Because even some of the goals that they're setting up to do in these modern games, I don't know about you, but I swear to God, they've done this before, like with appealing to like casual and like hardcore players, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did it in Black Ops 2 and 3 already. They already did that. And it's called The Giant, and it's called the survival maps, and it's called what the fuck? I think Transit was pretty casual too, just because you could just load into the map and have fun. Obviously, Pack-a-Punch, you getting Pack-a-Punch on that map is not casual at all. That's terrible.
It's not great, but that's a conversation for another day.
And the systems were simple across all the games and pretty easy to understand. I just think that they've done things like that already before. You know, that's why a lot of the casual player base, they love Kino, they love Town in BO2, they love the Giant, they love Nuketown. Oh, some of them do. I love Nuketown, but that's a 50-50 split map. But I'm just saying that like some of these goals they've kind of already done, even like with the Power Quest or Pack-a-Punch Quest in like Horizon Track. That's so easy. You do not need a guide to figure that out. There's just a power switch on the map. Like it's so. I think they've already done some of those things before. So when they neuter some good things in a map to accomplish that goal, it frustrates me a lot. Definitely. So I understand where you're coming from with that. And another thing, the last thing I'm going to talk about with that is, I swear to God, some of these maps, they feel like they're made by different teams. It feels like Citadel and Liberty Falls and the Tomb were made by like the B team, the Vanguard team. And then Terminus and Shattered Veil were made by like the A team. You know what? Do you know what I'm saying? Like they don't feel like they were made by the same people. Like those three maps that I just listed, like Citadel, Liberty Falls, and the Tomb, they feel like they were made by a completely different team of people with than the team that made Terminus and Shattered Veil. They have completely different design philosophies. They have pretty much, well, unless Citadel, they have like returning simple wonder weapons. And it doesn't mean that those maps don't do good things. They just don't feel like they were in the design of a classic experience like Terminus and Shattered Veil does. Do you know what I mean? Like they feel plain, and those maps feel magical. They feel artistic. They feel something. Like when I play Citadel or Liberty or the Tomb, I don't feel anything when I play those maps. I just feel nothing. It's just like it feels manufactured, like what Tim was saying in his video. But when I play Shattered Veil or Terminus, I feel something. I feel like the magic there. It feels like it draws me into the map, and I just enjoy being on that map. You know, it feels like it has an identity.
So I definitely do feel that, because when you load, I mean, besides Terminus's kind of starting room, which I think is pretty lame, that map feels like a zombies map. It has a atmosphere. It's dense with like shit all over the place. Like it feels like it's a broken down, run down island that we're trying to escape. And the Shattered Veil, I mean, that Terminus feels more like modern zombies to me. If like I had to, even though it has identity, it feels more like the modern zombie spin. Like Shattered Veil feels like a straight up zombies map. It feels like, I mean, I don't know if the mechanics would necessarily work, but I feel like you could plop it in other games and it would work pretty well. Like it feels like a really classic zombies experience, and I just keep going back to it, and I'm like, damn, this is what zombies is all about. And it just kind of, I don't want to be ungrateful, but it kind of frustrates me a little bit, because it's like, if they're capable of doing this, and again, this is what I was alluding to before, if they have the ability to create maps this good, and we've seen them set the bar this high prior, why can't they do this consistently? Like I'm all for having survival maps in between. Like if it's if it's like a Terminus, a Liberty Falls, a Citadel, a Tomb, a Shattered Veil, or whatever, you know, so on and so forth, I'm totally fine with that. But why can't they all have that zombies tonality, or that zombies feeling, or whatever it is?
Yeah, exactly. Like even the survival maps in BO2, Nuketown is a perfect example. Like that's not from, you could say the survival maps for Transit are just rips of the maps. Obviously you're going to have that zombies magic that Transit has.
Sure.
But Nuketown, that's a $5 map, and it's a survival map. That's all it is. And it has that magic, but like the Tomb doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it has that zombies feel. So that I understand what you mean by saying like it's so frustrating that they can do it for these like big maps that they work very tirelessly on. You can see that, but they can't do it for the other maps. They couldn't even do it for Citadel, which was supposed to be like those like Shattered Veil and Terminus, but it just wasn't. And that's why I'm so disappointed with it as well. But we'll talk about my Citadel opinion later.
No,
Jesus
well,
Christ.
I actually kind of wanted to, before we kind of talked about Shattered Veil, because I would like to maybe spend a little bit more time on that since it's the newer experience. But
Mhm.
I kind of wanted to talk about the map or the video that you made about 2 weeks ago. The maps aren't the problem, the game is. And
Yeah.
then I thought that would be an interesting juxtaposition to Shattered Veil, because your next video was the map that shattered expectations. So it's
Yeah.
an interesting juxtaposition, right? Because like the
Yeah.
problem's the game, and then here we go with the new map, and now it's actually kind of works pretty well, doesn't it? So I would like to kind of square that circle. I think it'd just be an interesting conversation. And I'm not like saying you're a hypocrite or anything. I
Yeah.
feel the same way. Um, so let's talk about kind of that video and the core essence of it. And I watched about half of it because I didn't want to spoil my I didn't want to spoil the opinion for the show. I wanted to get like a live reaction to what you had to say. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, why don't you kind of alleviate or not alleviate, elaborate. That's what I'm looking for on that video, and maybe just kind of start with Citadel as a framing point for the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, I think a lot of people misunderstand this too. That, like, when I criticize the systems of the game, that doesn't mean that other parts of the game I'm not also going to praise. Because, like, yeah, some of the maps are good, but like even Shattered Veil, I put it in like an A or B tier. And my biggest point with that video as well was that a lot of the systems in the game I find to limit the potential content or creativity within pretty much all the maps in the game. Like
Mhm.
every single map could be improved substantially with just more content in it to improve the experience, but they just can't do it because of these systems. Every single map is held back. And I mean, you look at BO4, that entire game is carried by the maps. And I think that's very clear. Um but I'll always praise the maps in the game. Like when a map does something good, like Shattered Veil does a lot good, I'm gonna praise that, right? But at the end of the day, even at the end of that video, I still say that this map, this experience is held back by those systems like score streaks, like just everything in that crafting table, the rarity system that makes it harder for me to even want to keep replaying matches because every single match I replay, I have to sit there and build like 9,000 equity and salvage just to have a good gun. When in previous games, I could have just bought Double Tap 2.0. And that was more engaging of a system because you had to like pick what round and what scenario you actually wanted that double damage when it was a necessity for you when you could make less points off of it.
Mhm.
Um, it's just that a lot of the content that could be in these maps, like what's the biggest flaw of Shattered Veil? Let's just start off with that. What's the biggest flaw of Shattered Veil? The side Easter eggs.
Mhm.
That's the biggest flaw on that map. And I still love the Sam Trap. And I said in that video that the side Easter eggs that are there are great. But there's like 2 or 3 of them. And I even for my round 999, I'm not using the Sam Trap. I have a Mangler injector for that. I don't need to use it right now or pretty much ever because I could just use a Mangler injector. And it's just like me and Beluga were talking about this as well. Like, why isn't there Wraith Fires on the map? Like Wraith Fires would be great on the map, but they just don't do it because pretty much most of the map specific equipment that they could have, they're just going to put it in the crafting table so that we could use it on every map. And you know that's what I mean by like these systems, they hold back a map. They don't elevate an experience. And the best maps in this game try to recreate a classic experience. It's not via doing it in the modern way.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you quite a bit. And the thing is just to highlight your BO4 opinion, and then I'll touch on what you were saying with the Shattered Veil. The Black Ops 4 I do think was carried by its maps for sure, but it still
Mhm.
had elements of a loadout system. It still had aspects to it that Cold War and uh Black Ops 6 have. It didn't have a crafting table, of course, but
Yeah.
It did have loadout weapons, specialist loadout, perk loadout. There were some of those same in menu progression systems that were just kind of baked in that limited in map experiences, but they still allowed their game to thrive because despite that, they put in map specific features regardless. And the thing is Treyarch can clearly do that. They did it with the Sam Trap. They did it with what you call it, oh my gosh, you said it in your video, the things in Citadel, the ultimate incantations. Yes. Jinx, you owe me I don't know, you owe me $1,000. Just kidding. So anyway, the incantations, the Sam Trap, whatever else I can't think of at the top of my head. And I like that stuff. I think it's special, and it shows that they can literally add features in like that. We've seen them do it before in BO4. We've obviously seen them do it in BO3 with the actual specialist weapons themselves. So they can clearly do it. I just don't know why they're choosing not to. And the thing is, like, they can still have their cake and eat it too with the crafting table. Like, why not make an Easter egg where you can do some sort of side quest and unlock a slot in the crafting table for wraith fires or whatever. Maybe you shoot maybe there's like a canister lying around and you have to fill it with like the blue ray gun Mark II ammo, and you take it and you do something with it, Sam blasts it with the laser, and you put it at the crafting table, and now you have a slot for wraith fires. Like, is it that hard? Like, I don't know. I'm not a game dev, so I can't say, but I don't know why they can't add in-game elements to the crafting table and we could just buy them with salvage. And maybe it's a perma unlock, like a perma reward for beating the T-Rex on round 100 or whatever. It's just, and then it can only be used on that map, and it's just like an extra fun thing. I don't know why they can't have their systems, but add onto them individually inside of the map. I don't get it. So and maybe you know something, No Name, I'm not sure, or if anybody in the comments has any ideas, or if any devs see this podcast, maybe you can tell me why I'm an idiot. I just want to know why you can't add more to the actual map itself to give it more of a cohesive identity, as opposed to just saying like, well, here's its main quest, and that's the only thing in it that makes it unique. Other than that, it's going to play pretty much the same as Terminus, pretty much the same as the Tomb, except for the Wonder Weapon, which, unfortunately, not to be negative here, because I do have a lot of goods to say about Shattered Veil. Even the Wonder Weapons inside of Black Ops 6 end up having the player just end up camping.
Yeah.
So because the zombies are so damn fast, the Beam Smasher has you camp, the Jet Gun has you camp, the swords are pretty challenging actually. I haven't even gotten to round 100 on Citadel, and the Ice Staff makes you camp.
You don't even have to use the swords on that map.
What
the round 100 shred is you just use the oil traps and throw Molotovs.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all you do.
You could do that, and then you can also spam the traps too. But I actually want to do it like legit. But
and an RCXD strat. But can I counter what you just said real quick about the systems? So you're right. Black Ops 4 did have similar systems. But I think one of the biggest things you can notice instantly is that they are limited. You can only choose a little bit of weapons to spawn with. Yeah, and most of them suck. True. And you pretty much only had an incentive to spawn in with the Strife. And yet again, I still think some of those systems in the game harmed at least some of what they did with the map specific stuff. For example, like the homunculus and stuff. I don't ever use it like when I'm playing 9, really. Unless I'm doing the Easter egg, because it's kind of useful for the distraction effect. But like for high rounds, you don't need to use it. You have a Wraith Fire, you spawn in with it. Mm-hmm. And I think pretty much every map in the game, and I think you can agree with this too, would have benefited from just having a quest to unlock a specialist, like a map specific specialist. But they didn't do that because you had all the specialists like selected within your loadout. Do you see what I mean though? Is like, even in that example, there are some systems that did limit what they did in a map. And even if they did do a lot well, like even on Blood of the Dead, which is your favorite map, and I know you're going to disagree with what I say here, but I don't think the majority of the player base even used the Hell's Retriever outside of maybe the Easter egg. Like, I have never gotten the Hell's Redeemer on Blood. I have no reason to do that because I have a Wraithfire and it's just going to do more. It's just more reliable to me, and it's more useful even for the round 100, because your round 100 strat on that map is just camping. Yeah. So I think even within that example, like my point here is that a lot of the classic systems, they allowed for more in a map than even some of the BO4 systems and the Black Ops 6 systems. And I think the Black Ops 6 systems limited a lot more. And even with incantations as well. I mean, were they really that creative of a thing? Because
no,
all they really were just ammo mods, right?
They were lame.
So exactly. So even when they did try it, it didn't really go so well, and it wasn't really something crazy. It was just ammo mods that you could just use whenever you wanted.
I mean, some of them were OP, but like for the fire and the lightning, like for the
amalgamations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they were completely useless, but I mean, also at the same time, there's an amalgam. Okay, I've got a mangler injector. You know, you know what I mean? Okay, we're good. It's not a big issue, and I don't think a lot of people are even using them for like super late high rounds either in that map. Like you're in 300. I don't think you're using incantations. I think you're just using a mangler injector. But you're right. Most of every single strat in the game for high rounds is a camping strat. Even the one I'm using for the 999, which is, as we talked about already, is killing me mentally. I'm just camping in an elevator.
What round are you at, by the way?
I'm at 300. I decided to take yesterday to work and play Power World, so I need a refresh because for like 7 days I've been doing high rounds on that map, but it's not been fun. But yeah, all of it's camping, but the reason is because of the systems in the game. Yet again, the way that the zombies spawn, how fast they move, training just isn't super viable, especially with something like zombie damage scaling, which is bullshit. Just to put it out there, it sucks. And they do that deliberately because they want those higher rounds to be harder. So instead of having infinitely scaling zombie health, they can't do that with the point system. They chose damage scaling instead, and it's awful. You're telling me there's 50 zombies in a room plus an elite enemy that could spawn more, with potentially can spawn another elite. So I'm just using the disciple as an example of this. And they're running at me super fast, almost as fast as I am. And they can kill me in 3 hits. No, you're not training for that. It's just not viable of a strategy. Mm-hmm. Every single strat is like, you can train obviously for the first 100 rounds. It would be fine. I did that for Terminus in my round 100 video. I just trained around an island.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I used like the GS45s to kill the manglers. And that's all I did. But after that, you better move to a camping strat because you're not going to make it. You are not going around 999 training. It's just not going to happen because the systems in the game and the way the zombies spawn, they don't allow for it. And it's also just slower, you know, because even if you could do it, it's slower. Why would you have no incentive to take training over camping when camping is faster? And sometimes it's even safer. That elevator strat that I use is the safest strat in the game. So if you were training on that round, not only would it be slower, it's way more dangerous and you're spending way more resources than you need to. Especially when every wonder weapon, they have to compete with a mangler injector. Just fundamentally. There's only 3 wonder weapons. Actually, there's 4. That like seriously are better than a mangler injector, and it's the jet gun. Actually, no, the jet gun's not better, it's worse. The mangler injector strat on Liberty Falls is actually faster than the jet gun strat. But the beam smasher, the ice staff, and the wonder waff, those are the only 3 ones because they just kill faster and they're more reliable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I should have covered that in the systems are the systems are the problem, because especially with the mangler injector, that is something that every single weapon has to compete with fundamentally across every map, and you can spam it. It's just super broken.
Yeah.
And everything I just described is exactly why every single strat is just camping. And it's going to be like that every single map in this game. For the rest of the DLC cycle, it's just going to be that. So I wouldn't expect anything different.
Yeah, unless they like kind of come up with a wonder weapon or some other, you know, mutant injection type ability. And that's something else that I find kind of annoying. It's like, why aren't they, well, I guess they are expanding the crafting table. Like they've added the war machine in the they're going to add the death machine in a minute, but I mean, we've used those before, so it's not like they're expanding it to anything new. I just don't know why they're not adding another Casimir or another mutant injection type ability. You know, if the crafting table is so damn important, then why not elaborate on it? Why not go past the bounds of what it's currently set to, and why not add more tools than things we've seen a million times, like the death machine and the war machine? Maybe they're saving it for later, and that's fine. You know, because once the game's complete, then we'll have a whole slew of tools at our disposal. But
yeah,
I would rather have map specific tools. And just to circle back to BO4, no, I my initial claim was like I was agreeing with you. Like it does have limits, but they still, despite those limits, they still had map specific features. And in this game, like just all the features are across all the maps, so it's you know, you're just going to have a more copy and paste experience across each map.
Unified experience. It's the Black Ops 6 experience. It's not the maps experience per se most of the time. And my claim isn't that they just, under no circumstance, they could never do it. That's stupid and hypocritical. They did it in the Tomb. But the selection has gotten smaller and smaller over the years. And you can really see that because we get like nothing now. Like it's bad.
Well,
but yeah, they could totally do it, but I just think that the ways that they could do it, it's getting smaller and smaller, especially when we had those selections of what you could do way many years ago, significantly more.
What do you mean by smaller? Like the chance of them having map specific features? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the chance and just like the amount of things that they could do, right? Like you keep mentioning that crafting table, but like the goal of that crafting table isn't to make like a map specific experience, right? It's the thing that unifies every map. So they have no, I don't think anywhere would they ever tie a map specific thing to a crafting table, because they've never done it before, and they have shown us through the 4 years we've had these systems that they're not going to. That's not the goal of that table. So it has to be done via a side quest, because that's the only way that they've done it. That's the only way that they want to do it, clearly.
No,
as much as I would like them to do that, right?
I agree. I'm just trying to give them other ideas to if like they're not going to give us side quests, and it's like, well, then why not update the crafting table? It's like if the crafting table is a catch-all, and they're not going to give us side Easter eggs that like a Savage Impaler or a Hell's Redeemer or a Golden Spork. If they're not going to do that stuff, then it's like, okay, well, if you love your damn crafting table so much, then put it there. Like, I don't care where it is. If that makes you happy, then put it there. Just give us stuff that's unique to the map, or make unlock slots so we can have secret weapons or something. I'm just trying to give them ideas. I don't care how they do it.
They need to do something. And honestly, that's what either my next video or my next couple videos are going to be about. Because I've seen a lot of people, especially from the classic side of the community, like Treyarch is going in the wrong direction. But I don't think people are realizing that. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's just you. But I think they're going towards a more classic direction, if you think about it. Like, especially with the map design in Shattered Veil as well. And like something like Double Tap coming back. And the wonder weapons that have just been classic. And I mean, you could sit here and be like, okay, well, it's just because they're uncreative. but they still have to like remake the models. Like they had to remake the model for all Mark IIs and all this stuff. It takes effort for them to do that, and I think they're doing it for very obvious reasons. The inclusion of Richthofen in the story, the direction we're going with the story, the inclusion of chaos. I think they're going towards a more classic direction. And I think as well that some of the people that blame like the modern systems on Kevin Drew, I think it's wrong actually. Because I don't know if you saw that Kevin Drew got promoted, but we found out after the promotion that Corky is the like, I think his name is like Brian Corky. He was the actual director, the full.
I think his name is
director.
Corky Lemcool. I think it's his name.
I don't remember. Anyway, that dude that was the sole creative director. Kevin Drew was just the associate. He was responsible for most of the Cold War systems we saw. So, and I think, what was it? Beluga, Code 6 Beluga. We were talking, and he described Kevin Drew as like the silent watcher. Like he knows what we want and where we're going. And I think he's trying to implement more classic things in these maps. I don't know, but that's kind of what I see. I intend to make a whole video about it because obviously I have more examples than what I've just spit out of my mouth here. But I think we are going back a little bit if you think about it.
Well, can you
especially with Samantha?
Can you elaborate on what you mean by like what's your logical train of what you think you mean, and what do you mean by going back to classic? What does that mean?
When I say going back to classic, I mean like going back towards the way that the classic design of maps. And I think Shattered Veil is like the perfect example, at least towards BO4. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Especially as Kevin Drew gets more in control over the development. And I've seen some people point out to his tweets from like 3 to 4 years ago about him saying that he would want more multiplayer and like mechanics from other modes put into zombies. But like that was something they've been planning to do and have done for a while. Where do you think perks come from? Where do you think gobblegums come from? Gobblegums are supposed to be score streaks. That's where the death machine drop is, even in the game in Black Ops 1, because they were going to put score streaks in Black Ops 1 zombies. They were going to do that. A lot of what we see, even with the loadouts, Newton's Cookbook, all that stuff in BO3. Think about it. Where's it from? It's from multiplayer. That's always been the direction Zombies is going in. I think they overstepped it, definitely. But him just saying blanketly that he wants more multiplayer stuff in Zombies, I don't think that is what people draw from it. Like, oh, he just wants to make Zombies a Warzone or multiplayer. No, I just think he thinks that they have some good ideas. They've been creative as well. Let's take some of those and put it in the mode. I don't think he's done it perfectly, but I think he could do a better job, and I think he wants to do a better job as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I agree that Zombies has always pulled from like other modes and whatnot, and gobblegums are supposed to be score streaks. Like however you want to frame it. But the difference from BO 1, 2, 3, 4, but Cold War and BO6 really took a turn. It's the packaging of the tools. It's inside of BO1 when you got a death machine, it was like kind of a rare like extra boost, or the way the dragon strike. Well, actually, a perfect example is the Gauntlet of Siegfried in Gorod Krovi. It's like the flamethrower from, I forget the dude's name in that the specialist Firebreak, but they package it in a dragon. It's in a little baby dragon that can like fly around and you can do like a punch dash. It's like they package it in such a way that it doesn't feel like it's from multiplayer, but it totally is. And that's what made Zombies feel special, was the narrative that informed, and this, I say this all the time, so I'm sorry for listeners who hear it constantly, but it's the narrative that informs the gameplay. Like they work together. And now they're just like, oh, Well, we have chopper gunners inside of multiplayer. Let's put them in zombies. That players will love that. They've loved when we've done that before. But the difference is, like, if we had a freaking dark ether god raining hellfire on zombies, everybody would think that is cool. But the fact that it's just like Raptor 1 here coming in for shooting down zombies. All right, Raptor 1 out. And everyone's like, yo, let's go. Raptor 1, yo, let's go. I'm like, dude, it's not that cool. It's really not. And the fact that one last thing, and I'll shut up. The damn chopper gunner thing is like a infinite god mode like glitch that you can use to not get hit if you pull it out when you get surrounded by zombies, which is hilarious because the Pegasus strike, you get swarmed and you can get fucking killed if you pull it out too slow in Black Ops 4. So the whole thing is with the packaging. I don't care if they have these features for multiplayer. It's all about the packaging, the presentation, how the quests are formed, how we get them. And so if they want to have these MP tools, that's cool. But, you know, I just think you gotta package them a certain way.
I think, I think that was Corky's biggest problem. If you think about it, like, I don't think he understood that. And that's what has always gotten me, because I thought Kevin Drew was like solely responsible for everything, just like the majority of the community thinks that. But like, how can the man who made Zetsubo no Shima and Blood of the Dead, and didn't he make Mob too? I think he helped make Mob. Like, how can the man who made these maps not understand this? And that's where my logical like assignment of blame is like, that doesn't make any sense. But Corky, I don't even think he made any map. Like, no, I don't think he was like the primary driver of a map. You know what I mean?
Funnily enough, unless I'm mistaken, I think he was the lead dev or the lead whatever on Gorod, which is ironic.
On Gorod?
That's what I've heard.
Ew. We need to do some research before we make these, dude.
It's hard.
We're just assuming.
No, I mean, I've heard it from people like in the but you're never gonna know. Like, you're never gonna find out. You're never gonna be able to go to like zombies.com and see the credits. Like, that's not a thing. So all we can really take inferences from the leaked documents that we've seen, insiders that have like told people information, and Kevin Drew's tweets where he's talked about working at Treyarch for a while, and he's talked about the maps that he's worked on. But no, Corky has been leading maps for quite a while, and apparently he did Gorod, but I don't know what he did in Black Ops 4 or anything like that.
Yeah, dude, it'd be really funny if he made like Alpha Omega. Like, I would think that's so funny.
Well,
even though I'm pretty sure Activision Shanghai made those maps. But shout out Togder Toten lovers like CJ Santo. I love those people. God, I love Tog so much.
Yeah,
I love that map.
Alpha Omega was worked on mostly by Treyarch, and then it got taken out and sent over to Activision Shanghai and High Moon Studios, I think, to finish it off. And same with Tag. Tag was pretty much mostly taken away. But the Treyarch did work on mostly Alpha Omega. That's why it mostly feels like a Treyarch map, but there's like kind of elements of it that are a little, off.
I don't know if it's just me, but like, I think that's the ugliest zombies map ever made.
No,
like, it's next to Firebase Z, dude. It's like, the colors are so bad.
No, it's sick. It's if you look up at certain portions of the sky and the lightning and it's such a deep blue, and it like contrasts with like this yellowish hue, and then the whole underground section is fucking awesome. The problem is you can't go underground to appreciate it because of the Nova bombers. That's the real crime.
The real crime is that the round 100 on the map is just knifing in a corner.
Yeah,
that's the biggest crime of that map.
Yeah, I have a problem with kind of like exploiting certain things in maps, because it's like, you don't have to play that way, because the whole thing is like, you don't turn on power and then you sit there, right? I think that's the whole thing, so you can avoid stuff. And I just think that's not fun. Like, that's why I don't like doing the trap strat on Citadel, where you just like turn on the traps and spam the rocket launcher. Like, I actually want to figure out real strategies where I can at least enjoy the game, have some fun,
Yeah, I did that. It was so clunky. Like I don't know if you know this, but like the majority of the High Round community, yeah, Citadel's the worst High Round map in the game. Like I think the majority of the High Round community almost died when Citadel came out because like the high rounds of that map were so bad. I think they still are. I haven't done a high run on that map since launch. I didn't even care to do a stream. I was like, I'm not doing this crap. You're funny if you think I'm gonna do high rounds on this map. I struggle enough with this game, just playing it. I'm not doing that.
So do you overall like just not like Black Ops 6 or what?
No. Oh, well, okay, hold on. No, as in like no, I do like it. Like I do like it. I think it's a 7 out of 10. But a lot of my frustration with it comes from the systems of the game. Like I wouldn't say they're bad, right? But they just don't engage me enough within every map. You know, like I can't replay a map as much as I would before. You know, like I don't return to Citadel ever, really. Like I go sometimes, but only when I need to get footage. I don't really ever return to the tomb, especially when like even for high rounds, because that used to be the best high round map in the game until Shattered Veil came out, not Shittered Veil.
I think I'm gonna say Citadel.
Until Citadel came out, but the boss spam on that map is atrocious. So no, I'm not playing that map. Liberty Falls, no, just no. And like that's my issue, right? Is like the only two maps that I come back to is just Terminus and Shattered Veil, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? And it's not that the other maps are bad, but I don't have a single reason to return to those maps. They don't really offer me a different experience, right? And I think that's where my frustration comes with. I just don't want to play the game because I've played it, you know, to the point where I'm not having fun with it as much on subsequent, you know, playthroughs. Like I just got what's the mastery camo again? Is it Aurora?
Nebula,
thank you. Yeah, I just got Nebula, and it's been like 5 months since launch because I've just been taking my time. But like when BO3 came out, I played that game way more probably than I should have. But every match felt different. I could swap between different maps, and every map felt different from one another, right? They all offered me different things. I had different systems within each map to interact with. But in this game, that's not how it works. I always typically spawn off with the same selection of 10 guns that I swap between because I don't have a reason to choose any others. I'm just sitting here just get 2,500 salvage, go back to the armory. Get 5,000 salvage, go back to the armory. It's just, you know, it doesn't captivate me as much as I would wish it would. And I think a lot of the maps would benefit from just some more classic systems back. You know, and when I criticize the game, like I don't think it's a bad game, and I think a lot of people, you know, even when I do criticize it, because I think probably like 60% of the content I've made since launch has been criticizing the game and its systems and stuff. It doesn't mean I hate the game. It just means that I want it to do better. And I think limiting, like, you don't have to remove loadouts, but God, BO4 did it better, you know? Mm-hmm. They could do more of a BO3 type thing, or sorry, BO4. You just like, you have a little bit of selection, but you still have an incentive to interact with the wall weapons in the box and stuff. You know, I would prefer a double tap type of progression back. But if they don't want to do that, I don't know. They could do the Vanguard rarity system. Like, I think it would work with a different point system, like BO4s at least, or the classic one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's some compromises, right? Like that BO4 had, which is why I can return to BO4 more than I can Cold War or Vanguard or this game. Well, because some of the compromises that were made were still engaging to me.
What would you say to people that are like, well, bro, you've got Nebula, you've grinded the shit out of the game, you've played a lot of time. Like, no wonder you're not feeling it anymore. What do you say to people like that? Do you think that they're incorrect about you sinking so much time and that's why you're maybe just feeling a little fatigued? Or do you genuinely think it is the maps and the systems?
No, I think it is the maps and the systems because like I do take breaks. It's not like I don't do that. Like I'll take breaks and I'll go play different games. And I did that, and I think that's evident. I have an entire second channel now because I was just so out of it, right? Like yeah, I do have Nebula, but my playtime in this game, it's not like a lot. Like I don't have crazy hours on this game. I don't even have 200 hours or anything. I've lower than that. Like
Well,
I've
what's
played
your
a
like
good
rank?
amount of this game.
What's your ranking? Like prestige? What?
I'm prestige 1 level 55 because I haven't
Oh,
prestige, but
okay.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't grinded prestige or anything. But it's not like I'm grinding the game all the time. Like I load up a map, I'll play it for a bit, I'll do the Easter egg, and then if I like it enough, I'll do the high round for it. And that's pretty much it. Like I've done the camo grind, yeah. And even then, Nebula, I have it on like 4 guns. I'm not gonna, there's no way I'm gonna spend the time getting on every gun. Most of my playtime came from launch.
Yeah.
Over time, I haven't played it as much when the new map comes out. So yeah, you can sit there and be like, oh, you have a ton of playtime, but it's not like I'm playing it that much for like a week. Obviously, like if I did that, then you could use that argument against me, right? Like, oh, I've just burnt myself out of the game because obviously you just played it so much. But I really haven't. Like I haven't played Shattered Veil all that much. Like I've just been doing round 999. And even then I had to take a break. I had to take a break today because even after this call, I'm going back and I'm playing Power World. I'm not playing Shattered Veil today.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a break yesterday. But you know, I can still return. It's about like what does a map offer me and does it feel different? Even when I return to Shattered Veil and Terminus, it doesn't feel all that as much of a difference in comparison to like the difference between like Eisendrach and Gorod Krovi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. No, of course I do.
Yeah.
And it's honestly what's I think what's mostly different is the game itself. It's like if you want to go play Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 2, you're going to get a differentiation between each map. But Black Ops 6 as a whole is like the experience. Like you were kind of saying before. It's like, oh, you want to play Black Ops 6? Well, we're just going to play whatever we want and it's going to be kind of the similar gameplay loop over and over and over. But I you know what I'm actually looking forward to the most is when this game wraps up and some time passes and I kind of come back to it and I do like a stream or like maybe a retrospective like a few years from now and just like play all the maps in order, because I think having like a 4 or 5 hour stream of like doing each Easter egg and all the boss fights, I actually think that'd be pretty fun because the Easter eggs aren't that long. They're not going to be that crazy hard to remember, but the boss fights would be pretty nice to go back to after not playing them and seeing whatever new content's coming in BO7.
That's the most memorable thing in this game. Every boss fight, the boss fights. I said this in the video, the Shattered Veil one. The boss fights of this game, incredible, so good. They are so amazing, and like that is something I will always give Black Ops 6 is how good their boss fights are. The quality control on them has been awesome.
Which boss fights do you like the best? Actually, why don't you rank them all? Why don't you rank all your boss fights, and then why don't you rank all the maps that you in order from best to worst?
So Terminus, best boss fight. Patient 13, like I knew we were gonna get like a C something. Like I thought it was just gonna be like a tentacle monster or something, but it was Cthulhu. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. The mechanics are great, the presentation is great, the music is great. That boss is my favorite. Second favorite, it's gonna have to be that Z-Rex, man. It's gonna be, that might be controversial. Some people put the Guardian way higher than I think it should be, but I'm gonna say the second is the Z-Rex. It's got a great design.
I love how you hate Citadel so much. It's cracking me up. It's so funny.
Well, like I don't hate it. I just think it's the most overrated map in the entire game. Like I think it's like a solid like 6 or 5. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's great either. Like I didn't save the game for me or anything. But anyway, yeah. Second is the Xerox. The fact that you can even ride it, you're going second tier.
Yeah,
and I love
that's
how
pretty
it
fun.
emphasizes it's the boss fight that emphasizes a movement the most out of any other boss fight.
Mhm.
And that's why I love it so much. Some people will sit there and be like, oh, it's just like the other ones, but you just shoot a weak point. Okay, yeah, but it's different with how it's laid out and the boss speed and how it interacts with you. So it's not the same. But anyway, number 3, even though I just said the Guardian is overrated, it's the Guardian.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
just because
the only one, really.
Yeah, and like the Tombs is getting 4. I don't care. Oh, it's hard, so you should like it more. No, it's hard for the wrong reasons, and I hate that boss. Shooting a mirror is not fun. It doesn't have a cool design.
I like it.
It's just lame.
It is.
Yeah.
What it is. I think it's fun.
I don't think it's like a bad fight, but I do think it's the worst in the game. Like I don't think any of these fights are bad. I just, like within the game.
Well, you forgot about Liberty Falls.
That's not a fight. That is not a fight. That is HVT. That is like 2 HVTs you have to fight.
I mean,
That's it. It's just
I guess it's not technically a boss. Maybe I should have rephrased the question, but just in
Yeah.
like a final climactic experience, I guess it's. I do consider it like an Easter egg pinnacle moment, like an ending climax.
like Togs.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that would be the worst then. I don't know.
All right.
It
Well,
was
now
just kind of like whatever to me.
now rank the maps and let's see and compare it, and we'll see how they size up.
Yeah. So Shadowvale's my 1.
Okay.
Terminus is my 2. The Tomb is 3.
Spicy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is spicy. People are not gonna like that. People are not gonna like that, dude. $2,000 for a door? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but the door
And then,
is a butthole, so
it's a glowing one.
exactly.
Yeah, I love it. And then for I'll give it to Citadel, and then the worst is Liberty Falls.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything redeemable about Liberty Falls, maybe besides that it has an end cutscene.
I think this was my ranking last, not last episode, but the episode before that. I think this was my same exact rating.
Yeah.
I think that Citadel is just super. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just. I don't know if I think it was more of a letdown or more of like a come on Treyarch, you can do better than this. Like,
yeah, maybe it was both. Maybe it was both. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
like vanilla ice cream's good, but like, I don't know. It doesn't hype me up. Like, oh, we got you vanilla ice cream. Okay.
Yeah, it's
thanks.
tasty and it gets the job done, but it's always better with like some strawberries or like chocolate sauce or whatever to make it better. Like those little details are what
Yeah.
make the magic of like a meal, of a movie, of a game. In Citadel Day More, it's just so interesting because they were really hyping it up in those little, trailers and dev sit downs or whatever the hell they were called, and then the podcast where he's like, we're going to be focusing on magic and it's a castle, and I was like, no way, I can't believe they're going, like, we've been asking for the magic thing forever, and then they barely dipped their toe in the magic pool.
Yeah, it feels like they dipped like their toes into like a different thing for every part of the map, but they never sunk their whole body in that thing, or at least pick one or whatever. Like, it's like the way I view Citadel is like there's Origins at the top, and then DE overrated a little bit. I know I'm dropping fire opinions, and I'm not gonna elaborate. But then Citadel below DE. It's like I guess like the washing down that like trickled down to these maps. Like DE is just kind of like a washed down Origins to me. And then Citadel is like the most washed down, watered down version of DE. Like it just tried to do everything DE did, but worse.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely parts of it. I mean, there's some things that shine out. Like I do think the Raven Sword and the Electric Sword are really cool, but it's just the process of getting them and the lore behind it and it coming to fruition. All of that just falls flat. It's like it's
Yeah.
just not interesting at all. And the map, it is beautiful, and it like the review I made of it. I titled it just shy of being perfect or just shy of being a master. I forget what I called it, something like that, because it has
Yeah.
all the ingredients to be a pinnacle map. All of them. It had all the ingredients to be top tier. And then they just were like, okay, well, no, we're just not going to take it to that next level. And I'm like, I just don't understand why. But we were talking about this in not the last podcast, but the one before, about how the story was just missing this like extra oomph, and it was over reliant on craft, and they didn't utilize aspects of the owl very well. But then,
Even with like craft, I still think he was underutilized. Like really,
everything in the
how many
story
times
was
does he really talk to
underutilized.
you? Yeah, and like even when the map came out, when I was in my little honeymoon phase, I was like, these things are all great, even though I didn't think they were all like that great. Even then, I still was like, yo, this ending cutscene sucks.
All the cutscenes
There was no value to this. Mahatma Gandhi died, said he had an adopted son. Thumbs up. Thanks for the riveting dialogue that really helped progress the story along. Like, you know what I mean? I know when I phrase it like that, it sounds like I hate it. I don't hate it. It just was like whatever.
All the cutscenes in BO6 have been super weak. Like when we got the first Terminus cutscene, like this is where I get confused, okay? Because BO6 has some great gameplay, has a really core, like awesome core gameplay loop. The tool, like yesterday I was playing Shattered Veil and I was using the ray gun Mark 1 or whatever you want to call it. I don't think people call it the Mark 1, but the ray gun. I was using the Mark 2. I was going through all the variants, and I got the Wonder Waft, and I was throwing Casimirs and monkey bombs and electric sticks or whatever they're called. And I was just like, bro, this is super sick. I'm using all these different tools. Fucking awesome. This is great. But then it's just like it's the presentation of of those tools. It's the layout. It's the art design of it. It's that magic that makes it special. And it's like, but the thing is like I can do all those same things mostly without the wonder weapons, I guess, on Terminus. But we're gonna get the ray gun Mark II anyway. But my point is like, it's just when I'm seeing these cutscenes and stuff, I'm just like so confused where that magic is, that oomph is. Because think about when BO4, BO3, yeah, BO1, even with like the moon teasers where that guy's like in the spacesuit on the treadmill or whatever, and he like turns into a zombie and blood's like exploding inside that suit or whatever. I can't quite remember what it is. It's so gory and nasty and like kind of punk rock in a way. And now like we have this cutscene where Peck is coming from the shadows, and we see one guy die, which is kind of cool. The guy who's turning up the music, but then it's just like the characters walking as soon as they hear the alarm. The Citadel cutscene when they confront Ravenov, we haven't really done anything with that since they've talked. And then the tomb, there's no cutscene there. Liberty Falls cutscene was obviously awesome. That's probably the only one. Liberty Falls / Citadels or / Shattervale's cutscene was awesome. And the ending cutscene for that map was awesome. Those are probably the only two that are fucking good.
People still think, and I agree, that cutscene would have been better used on Shattered Veil, not on Liberty.
Sure.
Like it should have been for that map.
Yeah. I consider it like the same thing, like I consider it like it's like a double cutscene because we're having the outbreak for Liberty Falls, but it's like also giving us bits of the Shattered Veil. It was like a two birds, one stone, which sucks, obviously, but the cutscenes in the end of the Shattered Veil are really good.
I don't think it sucked. I just think it was like weird. I just think it was just weird.
No, I don't mean like the
Shattered Veils.
I don't mean the cutscene sucked. I mean the utilization of doubling down and like or doubling it for two maps. That's what sucked.
Yeah. Even with Shattered Veil's cutscene, like the one for before the boss fight, my biggest comparison is Zetsubo, where it's like this character gets this here's this thing that like shatters their moral perception of where
Shatters
they
his
stand.
veil.
Yeah, shatters his ball sack. And you know, like the reaction from Tokyo, it's so real. You can feel it. The music sets the scene. You can see it on his face. And the resolve of his answer to it, right? Weaver? Yo. I didn't know, man. Like that was pretty much his like reaction. And I heard I think it was the Corborium in your podcast episode. He was like, well, it's in character because this intel shows that he was reflecting about that incident. But like, even number one, I don't like that. That should not be in an intel at all. I think that should just be in a cutscene, whatever that is.
Or in character quotes or something, like something that the player can hear.
Exactly. I don't have to go out of my way just for basic character development, right? Like there's lore, that's where intel should be, but like character studies should be within a map, within a dialogue, within a cutscene. But even then, like he didn't know why, right? Like he didn't have that subtext of it was Richthofen's family I killed. So that doesn't defend the fact that he basically didn't care, like in that cutscene, like he didn't show it. The expressions weren't really there. And I know some people blame it on like, oh, well, it's the engine, right? Because they're in-game rendered cutscenes. But so were the ones in BO3, and they did it well. They had that reaction that felt real. But within the cutscene of Shattered Veil, like Weaver doesn't really have that reaction at all. The only person displaying any emotion on their face or with their dialogue or with what they're saying or given or written with is just Richthofen, and he's the only one. And that's why he is the best in both the Shattered Veils cutscene and in that Liberty Falls cutscene you mentioned, because it's about him.
Yeah.
Because all the writing and voice acting and all that stuff, it goes to him. It doesn't go to the crew, which it should go to both of them. It shouldn't be one or the other.
Yeah, the crew is important. They are who we're playing as. You know, we want to like them, but Richtofen is by far the most interesting. And that's the weird stuff about Black Ops 6. It's just there's so much good to it, you know, in the side of the gameplay. And it's a really fast-paced, you know, zombies experience. Like you can get really into the action quickly. The wonder weapons are fun. It feels good to kill zombies. I like going for high rounds. It's easy to get to round 50, 60 in just an hour or so. You know, have really good play sessions. You have really great tools at your disposal, but every map feels the same. The story is weird. The cutscenes are like kind of all over the place, but mostly kind of lame. It's just weird, weird stuff. Like, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, why, when we have seen Treyarch set a standard that is just so damn awesome, ever since kind of that era of the golden age or whatever the hell you want to call it, have they kind of deviated from living up to their own standard? It's like they said it, not the community. We didn't do that. They
exactly.
Did.
We said at the same time. That was cute.
Well, you know,
but
we are dating. So
exactly. Well, I'm dating everyone. I'm the zombies hoe.
That's true.
You know, whatever.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Got 3. We got 3 so far. We got you. We got Nova V2. We've got Boar the 6.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get Clam Rally, but I don't know. We'll see about that one. Anyway, what was I saying? I forgot.
We were just talking about how the game is all over the place, and then we said at the same time.
There we go. Okay. So the way that I view Black Ops 6, and especially why I'm so critical of it, and I've never said this, at least not publicly, is that this is the zombies game that has the most going for it that we've had since BO4, which is why I'm so critical of it, because I want them so badly to execute.
Yeah.
And I think that's where me and you relate the most, is that we want them to execute so badly. They could do it next game. I think it might be a little bit too late, maybe. I mean, we might have 1 or 2 maps left. Maybe that'll change. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know, say for sure. But most of my bets are honestly on the next game. Like, they're not. I think there's some good story potential now more than ever. But when it comes to that gameplay execution, I'm more expecting it more of the next game, especially with those leaked like map locations. I don't know if you saw them. I'm not betting on leaks. I've said this so many times. I'm not going to set my expectations on them, but I think it could be interesting. You know.
Well, let's tie this section to a close before we get to the wrap up section and lightning round section. And just kind of what I'd like to ask you is, okay, we've laid out a case for Black Ops 6. We talked about the good. We've talked about the bad. We didn't really get too deep into Shattervale, which is okay. But I now that we've kind of laid out this case, like what would you, if you could have it your way in terms of seeing where we're going and for the next maps, like what do you want from the remainder of BO6? Like if they're, I'm sure that they're not going to change their damn crafting table. I wonder if Treyarch has a crafting table in their office. And they're, what would you like to see in terms of the maps? Is there anything gameplay wise you'd like them to tweak? What do you like to see for the remainder of the season? And then that leads into, okay, if they don't do that, then what do you think they're going to do for BO7? And what are your hopes for that?
Yeah. So BO6, what do I want? With what they can do now, for Christ's sake, just at least one more map specific equipment, just one more. They can do it. Just one more. I don't care what it is. It could be the most useless thing on the planet. Just one more. I don't care if it's like a rubber doll that does nothing. It just dances. Doesn't even distract zombies. I just want one thing, and it's just more map specific equipment. One thing I'd like as well is to do what they did with Shattered Veil, which is just a more captivating art direction and atmosphere. I think honestly, Janus Towers might be raining because Liberty Falls was all super sunny and shiny and dull or whatever. This map was like super cloudy and blue. I think next map they could do like either like a fully nighttime map to help set the serious setting that they're trying to go for with Janus Towers. Or it could also be raining and dark, or at least like more of a darker atmosphere. I think that's what they're going to go for. I'm praying. One thing I will say as well, don't give me Mule Kick. Please don't. I think you might ask this later on, so I might. Sorry if I already answered one of your wrap up questions. But I want to see Zomshell come back. For the love of God. There is a leaked, there was like a leak for the perks that could come. There was 3. There wasn't just 2. There was 3. There was Tombstone, Mule Kick, and a perk that started with the letter Z.
Yeah.
I can't think of any others. Please, Zomshell, come back. It would be super useful because, yet again, all the strats in this game are camping strats. Zomshell just slows down the zombies, so it would just make camping strats better.
That's true.
Like it would be, out of all the perks they could add, I honestly think either like I think the Legend HG suggested this or someone else did in that podcast, like Victorious Tortoise or Zomshell. I think those would be the most useful perks they can add.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, either a new Wonder Weapon. I know some people think it's going to be the Cerberus.
I don't think that's going to happen. There's no way.
Yeah, especially because like none of the Cerberus isn't a pistol that's a railgun. It's not. So I think they're going to do something new, which I'm excited for. I want some resolution and connection between the MWZ story and our characters dying and what happens in this map or in DLC 5. I just want a resolution. I want the story to move forward. If we get another fetch quest, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, that's what I think is fair to ask for. I guess one last thing that I think is a bit unrealistic is just for them to either remove zombies, like scaling zombie damage, or to nerf it towards like, okay, now it's just a 5-hit down or something. Just make some strategies still be just a little bit more viable than they are now. You know, which was even the whole point of double tap coming in the first place. But yeah.
And for BO7?
Yeah. For Black Ops 7, my really only wish that I think is like super. I guess kind of you could kind of say there's a chance, but it's kind of fueled by hopium and copium.
Yep.
But
Yep. I'm addicted to that too.
yeah, just some classic systems, or just for God's sake, just some BO4 systems to come back. You know, that's all I want, is just something, you know, just a little bit of that old stuff to come back. Cause like the new point system, and that was another thing that I wanted to lay out, which I guess I didn't say in the maps aren't the problem, the game is video, which is that they don't need to take out everything I listed. Even if they took out one thing, one of the things that I listed and changed it, or just took it out or whatever, it would improve the game just on a flat line. Just one thing, one change would already help the game. Like, they don't need to listen to everything I've said. Even if they just took out the field upgrades and just did map specific specialists, the game goes up by an entire point for me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's ever going to happen, unfortunately.
It hasn't happened.
Not with Warzone. Warzone is it's meant to, like, I think with people using Warzone or using zombies to grind for camos and stuff like that and go into multiplayer in Warzone, having the field upgrades be a simple and easy thing to understand. Having loadouts is a great way to show off your bundles quickly. Like, if I pay $20 for that bundle and I can't get it out of the box when I want to, well, that's the mentality. I'm not saying I agree with that. That's the mentality. You just paid $30 for a new bundle. You can use it right away in the game. It's all about making their store worth something. Their the Warzone players happy by having plating and armor and crafting tables, and it's just because they want to appease their largest base so that they can get them into that full. Because like Warzone's free to play, they want them to pay for the bundles, but then they also want them to pay full price for the COD package. And if they see zombies in multiplayer and they see that there are systems that they already understand, well, then it's an easy transition. But the problem is that like harms the hardcore player, or like the longtime fan.
The dedicated, the longtime fans that are like super dedicated.
Yeah.
And that's also why like Warzone is the big thing in the COD HQ, and then everything around it is Black Ops 6 stuff. You'll see like the newsletter for like the patch notes under it, and then like the rest of it is just Black Ops 6.
Yep.
Around it, because they want that. They don't want Warzone to be like its own separate app. They want it to be in the COD HQ, so they can market the new game.
They sure do. Okay. Well, we've gone through the main section of the of our conversation, of the questions I've had. And so now I kind of want to get into the wrap up questions and then the lightning round. It sounds like you are kind of familiar with it, but just to recap, just in case, wrap up questions, it's stuff you can elaborate on a little bit more. The lightning round is just kind of quick gut judgments. But like I say all the time, there's not a gun to your head. If you want to elaborate, you can. It's just to make it fun, you know? So we'll start with the first wrap up question. And I added a new one. And I think this is going to be controversial because it's so stupid, but I got in an argument in my comment section, and I want to clear it up. So maybe it'll be funny, maybe it won't be funny. We'll see. Anyway.
Okay.
What zombies map or mode do you dislike the most?
Map or mode?
Yeah,
so I could choose either one.
Yeah, if like you want to say MWZ instead of like Die Rise. Just to give you the option.
Yeah. I think this is the easiest question for me to answer.
Okay.
Its name is Duron Fong. I think MWZ has redeeming qualities. I don't see a single thing in that map or experience at all. I mean, maybe you could say the Covenant system, but that's on every map, so I don't even count it.
Do you hate Terra Maledicta less than Duron Fong? I think Terra Maledicta is way worse.
I have more respect for it just because of the fact that it has didn't Zavala get on that? That's not her name. Is that her name? The girl that you shoot in the face.
Yeah, with the 3 beers. I honestly don't even remember. I don't even remember.
Sounds like
I'll look it up.
Destiny character.
Vanguard boss types. I genuinely don't remember at all. Well, while I'm looking that up, let's pop on to the next question. Besides Treyarch, which Zombies developer do you prefer? It is Zabala, you were right.
Okay. Oh yeah. Also, just really quickly, I have more respect for Terra Maledicta because it has something like the Decimator shield on it, which was a map specific thing, if you want to call it that, for that map. And that's the only reason why it's above Drawn Fong. But anyway, you said developer, so like between Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, and the reason, and just to maybe specify it a little bit, like a lot of people will say, "Oh, Infinity Ward because of like IW Zombies," but that like cohort of developers isn't really there, and the cohort of developers who worked on World War II Zombies isn't really there, and IW now and Sledgehammer now kind of worked on MWZ and stuff, so it's like, yeah, I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, even with that, I'm still gonna have to say Infinity Ward, at least because like we don't have a new horde mode to really relate them to. But I'm gonna have to say Infinity Ward. I think Infinite Warfare. I put Infinite Warfare above Black Ops 3, which is going to be a heated take, very heated. But that is how much I love that mode.
Well, that could have been your hottest take. We can just skip to that. Why do you think IW is better than BO3?
Because, dude, I swear to God, almost every single thing BO3 tried to do, Infinite Warfare did better. And it didn't even have map specific like specialist weapons. Like the Easter eggs, I just think they're better. Like at least some of them are in Infinite Warfare. Like I'll do Spaceland's Easter egg, even if it is less complex or whatever. It's just like survive and hold out a little mechanical satellite garbage can for do it 3 times in the boss fight. You know, it speeds me up to the best part of the map. So yeah, the boss fights, they just did it better. I guess BO3 had a better story, but sorry, I might answer one of your wrap up questions earlier than anticipated, but I'm gonna have to say Infinite Warfare cards, they just did Gobblegums better. They're balanced. They're just way more balanced. They just are, and I prefer how it works in that game. I guess the variants weren't the most consumer friendly thing on the planet, but I like the idea. I guess also the zombie hit reg isn't as terrible in Infinite Warfare. Like they don't hit you as fast, so you can kind of take your time with the maps a little bit more. I just think pretty much every map in Infinite Warfare just did a better job of, I guess, being like a more standout experience. And that's even though BO3 did a fantastic job of that, I still think Infinite Warfare just did a little bit better. Like every map has a completely different style, soundtrack, characters, everything feels brand new right from the jump. And it's great. And they all have their own mechanics. They all did different things, like, you know, Shaolin Shuffle with the karate and the Rat King. And
yeah, they really tried to make it unique.
And they have like celebrities in the map that are super cool, and you interact with them and stuff. I don't know, dude. And even high rounds, I prefer them in Infinite Warfare.
I haven't honestly really done a lot of high rounds on Infinite Warfare, but one thing I really like about IW was the Raven the Redwood like jewelry pieces you could find. Like they all each had an individual story, and they would like buff your weapon and do certain things. Like that's the stuff that I think is super cool. And I just don't know why Treyarch couldn't do that even now, you know, making some sort of special features inside of Shattered Veil that allow you to like add it to your gun to give it an extra little tune up. But because of the systems that are in Black Ops 6, you can't do any of that stuff.
Like, I think, Infinite Warfare just also did a better job when it came to player agency. You have a 5th perk slot. You can remove any perk
that part
you want. If you don't like it, you got a good super Easter reward which has never been done. I'm sorry, I don't think a single Super Easter reward has ever been good, like really that great. You know, you put all this work in, what do you get? You get director's mode. There's just more replay value on most of the maps, unless your name is Attack of the Reactive Thing.
And I like that
then
map
I
too.
have no reason to replay you.
I like that map. I mean, it has a good boss fight and an interesting Easter egg. It's just weird. It's a weird map.
Yeah. Very weird map. But Elvira, we go back to that map for Elvira.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody knows that.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I love that. I love that game mode so much. I play it all the time. Even my friends, they ask me like, yo, dude, do you want to go back and play Infinite Warfare? Like, we missed that game. They don't even do that for Black Ops 3. They don't do that for any other zombies game, just Infinite Warfare. Because how good that game is, man. Oh.
Yeah, it was a good time. So here's kind of an interesting question that the new question that I'm going to ask. It's probably stupid. I think a lot of people are going to think I'm an idiot, but it's okay. I'm going to ask it anyway. So a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, months ago, I put out a Liberty Falls review, and I was giving examples of like how maps can use lighting properly. And in my example, I was talking about how, you know, just because Liberty Falls is taking place during the day, it like we've had tons of maps during the day that have used lighting in certain ways. I can still make a map look great. And and I was talking about, and then in the video I was showing Drak, and I guess in my head I've always kind of thought Drak was taking place during the day, because like I thought it was just like high up in the mountains and we could just kind of see the moon, and the sky is not really that dark, and it's a super bright map in my mind. So I just kind of always assumed it was like dusk. And I got like, everybody was just like roasting me in the comments over this. And so I guess I'm just going to ask, like, do you think Drak takes place at night?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it does. I don't think it does, but
the reason why.
Go ahead.
Okay, but let me ask you this though. Where's the sun?
Well, you can see the moon during the day, and the sun could be like behind some clouds. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but it would shine around the clouds. Like, that's not how the sun works. Like, the moon doesn't emit light. It emits light from the sun.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be like dusk time, like where you can't really see the sun anymore, you know? Like, it's because you're so high up in the mountains. I just assumed it was like, I don't know. I just don't feel like it takes place at night, but I guess I'm wrong.
Even with maps that take like place during the day, I can only think of like 3. It's like Alpha Omega. 4 actually.
Liberty
Alpha
Falls.
Omega 9.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was thinking outside of Liberty Falls, but Alpha Omega 9, Togged or Toten, even though it's kind of like a sunset map, but it's still like, you know, it is during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Kino.
Buried, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. Buried did a good job though. That was like the desert, you know, really set that feeling like a cowboy map.
I mean, what about
they
Origins?
definitely did it better.
What about Origins? Like, and the other thing is we don't have the time. And so like if DE was at if DE was at like 10 p.m. or something, I'd be like, okay, it's definitely at night. But if DE's at like 7 p.m., then I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I think it's like dusk in the mountains, but I mean,
Shattered Veils take place during the day.
That's true. Shattered Veil as well.
Yeah, it did way better. You know, I just don't think that the daytime or the outbreak excuse, or like, oh, we're there during the outbreak, even though we don't get there until 24 hours after the outbreak, is an excuse for that map's poor atmosphere. I don't think that's an excuse.
Well, here's the thing. I just want to shatter this illusion, because I don't like when that argument gets brought up. They're like, well, the outbreak just happened, so like that's what it would look like. It's like, bro, Treyarch makes the story. They can make it look like whatever the hell they wanted to.
Yeah, it's also 5 did too. And you go to that underground area in 5, it looks fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
That place looks fucked.
Yeah. So Treyarch can do whatever they want. They're the masters of the universe. Like, so
Mhm.
anyway, I want to ask the comment section or the people watching, do you guys think that DE takes place at night? Am I just completely like losing my mind here? I'm still not convinced, but I'm like 60-40 on it right now. I'm 60% like thinking it doesn't and 40% thinking it does. I also think because there's no like, I also said that there was no clocks on the map, and then people were like, "Well, there's a clock that says 935 or whatever." But it's like that's like pushing towards the lore. So if there's like a clock on the map that somebody can point me to that says like 2:15 a.m., I will I will concede this argument. But
Yeah.
until then, I'm going to say that I think it's like a late after, like a early evening, a nice early evening under Eisendrach with the boys. So, the last question I usually like to ask here, just for yourself, it's like, do you have other YouTube channels? I know you said earlier you did, so if you want to shout that out, you're more than welcome to.
Honestly, I kind of don't want to.
Okay.
And the reason is just because there's been many instances of like, oh yeah, you shout out your other channel, but it's not about zombies or whatever your other channel is built on. So people subscribe to support you, but they don't really care about like what you're talking about. So it kind of just like sinks your stake in the algorithm of growing that channel.
Yeah,
So,
kind of. I mean,
yeah,
that is partially true, but you know, if people are interested in that type of content, then maybe they'd want to watch it. But
yeah, I should probably link it in the description.
yeah, I mean,
but it's just called Anonymous.
well, what type of content is it about, so that people can know if they want to subscribe to it?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to my zombies one actually, but I don't really talk about like the community about the games or whatever. I've done 2 analysis so far, which was like Minecraft and its direction and how they're doing Minecraft lives and updates. And then I made another video talking about like 2 horror game franchises like Five Nights at Freddy's and like Poppy Playtime, and
so it's more variety.
Them and yeah. I would just, you know, when I don't want to always focus on zombies, no matter how much I love it. That just burns me out.
No,
it burns me out.
I totally understand. And so, yeah, just wanted to give you an opportunity. So if you guys are into variety content, go ahead and subscribe to it. If you're interested in what No Name has to say, if you're not into it, then you don't, and you can just stay over on his main channel. Okay, so let's get into the lightning round so we can wrap up here, because we're pretty far over time, and so I do want to make sure we can bring this episode to a good time to close. So go ahead and start. And what is your most favorite, what is your most favorite? What's the most overrated zombies map of all time?
Eisendrach.
What's the most underrated zombies map of all time?
Tog der Toten.
Do you prefer the perk limit or no perk limit systems?
Perk limit. I think giving us like side Easter eggs to get more perks, or like a reward for doing the Easter egg on the map, which is just getting a perkaholic. I think it's more meaningful game design, and you know, it allows for gobblegums or something like that to be more impactful in your game and to have more value.
Do you prefer shields or armor?
Shields, even if they don't really work with these modern systems. I preferred how it worked back then. I think it was more engaging.
Would you prefer armor to have like abilities or quests tied to it rather than just buying it on the wall, or do you think that it just works the way that it is?
I mean, it kind of works the way that it is, but yeah, I would like more quests around it. Like, they have different upgrades on different maps, like you were saying in one of your podcast episodes. Like, there's an ice upgrade where it like freezes the zombies when they break an armor plate around you, even though that is kind of an augment already, but you know, still whatever.
Yeah.
It's like different.
Gets stunned. Yeah.
Or like one that lights them on fire. I agree.
Do you prefer loadout system or classic pistol?
Classic pistol. Always.
So you already touched based on what perk you would like to see back in BO6, and you did the favorite consumable system, but if you'd like to to highlight them again, you can, or I can just move on.
Yeah. I guess I'll just repeat in case people zoned out or something. So just Zom Shell and the Infinite Warfare cards. Zombshell super would be super impactful in this game. More impactful than any perk I can think of. I just want perks to have a use.
I'm actually I think it's interesting that you chose the Infinite Warfare card system because I think that's well, aside from World War II's consumable system, I actually think it's my least favorite one because there's not very many consumable or many cards that I play with that I'm like, damn, this is dope. Like I think I use reanimated all the time, and then I'll use the one that will allow me to skip the Ghost and Skulls Easter egg if I'm like not in the mood to do it. And I think that's it may be the double tap one, the double pack a punch card but it gives you a random gun, and sometimes that gun can suck. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think they're that useful. But yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I disagree. I think they're super useful. I just think maybe in your experience, maybe you haven't applied them, and maybe some of the situations where you didn't think you needed them, but they would have helped you. But I do concede to the fact that they should have added more cards that were more useful, because I do agree around like 40% of the card selection, 40 to 50. I don't fucking touch at all.
Yeah, they're
I don't
very
use
weird.
any of them. Like Black Fridays, dude, I have like 10, and I use a glitch to get like infinite cards, and I have 10 because I've used so many doing Beast from Beyond's Easter egg, because you have to spin the box to get the Kendalls on that map and the Venom X.
Mm-hmm.
Like my Black Fridays are gone. I have to glitch that stuff in again.
All right, last two questions coming up here. Should open world zombies come back or Outbreak? Whichever you prefer. No. Interesting.
No.
Even if they could fully develop it alongside round based, or just no entirely.
See, I see that argument, and I hear it all the time in your podcast stuff. I don't know, man. I really just feel like that's kind of like a pipe dream. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they really could do that with how stretched to thin their resources kind of already are when they focus on things similarly, right? Like if they're already having trouble giving us a lot of what we want for these round-based maps, what makes you think they could do it on top of an Outbreak mode? You know what I mean?
I think that's a fair critique.
That's where that comes in.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I liked Outbreak. I thought it had one of the better like boss fights inside of Cold War, and I thought MWZ was probably, it was just way better than I ever could have imagined it being. And they just drop the ball with this shit so often. It's like that's why I don't want them to do it, because if they're just gonna half-ass it, then don't waste your time.
Exactly. And it's just not what I play zombies for. I do think that there are some good stuffs in both of those modes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they could kind of put those things in round base too. Like if the boss fights are the best thing in that game.
Oh, they totally could.
Well, we've got boss fights in round base too. Like they could just put it in at a round base map, and it would be functionally better, at least for me.
Absolutely agree.
But yeah.
All right. Well, it's the final question here. And I think you might know what it is, but it's eliminate an era. They eliminate the era question. So it's the Zelensky, Blundell, or this modern era, which is associated with Kevin Drew. I know I'm not trying to throw him under the bus. I know a lot of people work on these games. It's just to kind of make it a little bit fun. So which era would you remove, my friend?
Kevin Drew.
Ooh.
That doesn't mean, well, I guess the Corky era. We're not even in the Kevin Drew era fully yet. But yeah, the modern era is gone. And it's not that I hate it, but Cold War was mediocre. Vanguard was terrible. MWZ exists. Black Ops 6 is the best thing in this era. And there's a history, from our past, from BO4 and before, that even has created these modern games and inspired them to be what they are. Without our previous entries, I don't think we'd be where we're at right now.
Sure, that's fair.
And I love everything in those two eras. Even though Zelensky was a crackhead, He had some good ideas sometimes.
I've heard a lot of things on this show, but I have never heard Zelensky be referred to as a crackhead. But that was the first. You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah. He was nuts. I don't know.
He was. That's kind of what makes his map
that's
special.
Why I love him.
They were very. He had elements of masochism. The maps were very oppressive. I liked it. I like it. And I used to hate him. I used to hate, well, not him as an individual, but I used to hate his maps quite a bit. But after replaying them a lot recently, it's been interesting. It's interesting playing all the games simultaneously, like going from BO1 to BO6 to BO2, back to BO4 to BO6 again. I've been doing that a lot recently for videos. And I got to say, like, it has my feelings all over the place. It really does, because it makes me think maybe I'm being a little more critical on BO6 than I'd like to admit. But then I go back and I'll play Moon on BO1 and I'm like, this is magical. This is magical.
Exactly. And I'm a Moon lover.
Yeah.
I should have said Moon for the underrated thing, because God, that's a top 10 map for me. Ooh, I love Moon so much.
I feel like Moon is loved quite a bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
I mean, I think the only person I've ever seen put Moon in their top 10 like me is Matt. Like, not Matt. What's his name? Was it MC Sports Hog? Yeah, it is. Yeah. He's the only person that I've seen. And he loved the map so much he got his own Space Dog side Easter egg.
That's true.
Good for him.
That did happen. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you're right. The map is divisive. It's like the tomb levels of divisive. But I still think it's overrated. Like, I think the people that hate the map, I think they hate it way too much.
Sure.
Honestly. Like, you can criticize it. I don't think that map travel is great at all. But to hate it as much as you do, ooh, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's a skill issue sometimes. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes it kind of comes down to that.
It's just like I was saying before, I like the word oppressive or resistance, or the map is fighting the player. And that went away in Blundell maps. Like the quest was the purpose of Blundell maps. The map fighting the player was the point of Zelensky maps. And then Kevin Drew's maps, or Corky's maps, or whoever the hell you want to say, is they're more about that core gameplay loop and just getting into the action and having a high octane experience. Like, each of these eras are renowned for a different element, and I think that's good. But I do think that the Kevin Drew era, or this just modern era in general, is just missing a little bit of that oomph, that resistance, that art style, that magic in the story. Despite having really, really solid bones and structure inside of the gameplay mechanics as a whole.
Although, like, I do agree with you, because you said it in your 4-way podcast, which sounds kind of weird,
that is a sentence that you just said.
Yeah. That, like, maybe not every map should be made like that. I do agree that not every map needs to fight you on every level. It's just like, Zelensky's was like survival, like just getting through it.
Yeah.
And like Blundell's was about the adventure that you took.
Yeah.
They were all adventurous maps, which is why he did such a great job with Chaos, because that was like the essence of what he was going for.
Exactly. It fit perfectly. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up here. I appreciate No Name popping on the show. I really do I really did enjoy this conversation we had. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, man. I've been wanting to get on this podcast, for a while, and it feels great to finally have made it here. It feels like, we really are going places in this.
We're going places
on this platform and stuff. Yeah,
we're all going places. Yeah.
Thanks for everyone watching here, especially if you are, subscribe to me and support me. Just thank you again, because I wouldn't even be on this podcast. No one would know who I am if all of you weren't supporting me. Like, I cannot be more grateful, even though, like, I am kind of small compared to a lot of the people, or at least some of the people in the community. I still am grateful for what I have, and I wouldn't have any of it without any of you. So thank you.
And I completely agree. And the same for me. He just said
Yeah.
he said it very well. So we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody.